find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88-85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in the scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Once coaches get involved, of course, they've got their own opinions about what fits best for what they want to do, and that could be drastically different than what the scouts say.
Well, you're looking at traits, and Emily tested very, very well.
The Bears.
One thing good about Kevin, he's been with two other organizations, as well as being the commissioner of the Big Ten. He's been around.
The Bears.
With Greg Olson, Jerry didn't want to get rid of him. I didn't want to get rid of him. Nobody wanted to get rid of him. One guy wanted to get rid of him. Mike Martz, because Mike Martz didn't know what the hell to do with him. We tried to talk Bubby out of hiring Mike Martz for a month and a half. He's playing zone, but number one, he doesn't get enough depth with the drop. But who the hell's going to How many times does a 305, 310-pound defensive tackle drop into coverage, especially in a key situation?
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluations so often?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate. There's probably not as many real good quarterback evaluators as there needs to be.
The Bears. The Bears. The Bears.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gabriel Talks Football on Bears Country Productions. I am your part-time host, Dan Shortino, a.k.a. Shorty. I'm here with my other part-time host, Jason, UK Bears, and of course, we've got the man in the middle. Everyone knows him, Greg Gabriel. Greg, I'm glad that I was just telling you before the show that I'm glad
I know you need to be talked off the edge, right?
I need to be talked off the edge. And it's not because of a loss. It's because of the Packers. Like, I don't know how many more Packers losses I can take in my lifetime. I'm going to
see how a good way to put this. I don't think like the normal fan does. Never have, because of all the time I spent in the league. So I look for trends and where things going, the direction things are going. This is, that was one play away from being a win and not a loss. Okay. So yeah, unfortunate, but reality was it was a game on the road and the Bears shot themselves in the foot in the first half. They just didn't play good in the first half. And that's part of their game they got to clean up because they've had a history doing that a good part of the year. Is starting out slow and then coming on strong in the second half. But in the grand scheme of things, I really think this still sets up well. Bears play Cleveland next week. And by the way, you think it was cold yesterday? The high next Sunday is supposed to be 10. So in Chicago for that game. As of right now, that was when I looked at the forecast, maybe an hour ago. But the preliminary forecast for the Green Bay game in 2 weeks is like 29 degrees. So it'll be a lot nicer for that game if that forecast holds. But anyway, Green Bay's got to go out to Denver. Chances are that's not going to be a W for Green Bay. Good chance that the Bears are going to get a W next week. So what's that do? That flip-flops the standings again. And then when you play Green Bay here in 2 weeks, what are you playing for? In all essence, you're playing for the North title with 2 games to go. And the Bears win, they're 1.5 up with 2 games to go because that tie can really screw over Green Bay. Yeah. So look at the bright side. Don't look at the negative shit.
Yes, great.
Look at the bright side. And, and then, also in a couple of weeks, you're going to get Tremaine back. And he's going to make a big difference in the defense.
That's true. Yes. I forgot about that.
Next week is his 4th week on IR. So he can come off after that. And he's good to go. He'll be playing against Green Bay.
See, Greg knows. Greg knows the score. That's it. That's what we were chatting before, weren't we? Sort of about that. You were asking about Tremaine because we knew that TJ was back. But yeah, that's his last game. So he'll be back. Maine is back for the Green Bay game at Chicago. So I'm with Greg here. It's not a disaster. Yeah, it's just annoying losing to the Packers, especially in the fashion we did. But
well, there are some defensive breakdowns. Exactly what they were. I couldn't tell you. You got to look at the tape, and you can look at the tape over and over again. But unless you know what the defensive play call is and what the assignment is for each individual on the defense, you can guess and say so-and-so blew a coverage or whatever, but you don't know for sure. And so, that's up for the coaches. That's why I like this late presser on Mondays that Ben has, and it's usually about 3:00 our time, is because he basically gives you all the right answers. If in fact the questions are right, so and some of those reporters will ask him what happened, and he'll say so and so did this, and that's what I like about him too, is that he's not afraid to say so and so blew a coverage, so and so blew a block, so and so had a bad throw, So it's refreshing that's the way he handles himself with the media. I'll tell you the other thing I saw. I don't think there's any love lost between LaFleur and Ben Johnson. I honestly believe those two don't like each other even a little bit.
Oh, really? Do you think so, Greg? Because I know sometimes these are sort of made up by the media, but I know there was that comment at his press conference, which everyone's jumped on, haven't they? But do you really think that's the case? Do you think there's something, between them?
Yeah, LaFleur might have taken it personally. Ben's very, very competitive. You can see that.
Yeah.
And, he hadn't lost in 6 weeks, 5 straight wins, and there was a bye in there. So, excuse me. I just think this sets up so well because these guys are going to see their mistakes and learn from those mistakes, and they're going to play that much better. But to get back to, LaFleur and Johnson, I just look for the so-called handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you watched it, but it was almost a fuck you, and so I like that.
Me too.
And, and I think that's what you want in a coach.
I'll have to go back and look for that to see if I can find that. If they still show that in the replays, of
the thing. Some guy from Green Bay, and by the way, I got a boatload of stuff. Now I didn't say anything, not one thing all week about this game, as far as, and in fact, I put out a tweet I think last Sunday. I said, if Bear fans were smart, they'd shut up all week. But of course they didn't. But the guy who got bombarded was me. And so I muted and then blocked, because when you mute, it goes to the top of the list when you go do it. And I'm going to have fun in 2 weeks, because there's not a doubt in my mind the Bears are going to win that game in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Greg.
I like how you put it into well, quickly. Lutz the reporter with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Lutz. Trust me, LaFleur took it personally. I like how you put that, because it's for me. It's not the loss per se. It's the loss, and it's the quarterback. It's the third straight quarterback in the row that they've developed. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and call Jordan Love a Hall of Famer by any means, but they haven't really missed a beat from Rodgers to him, and that is just the most annoying thing to me. I mean,
well, I don't know if I agree with you on that. He's had some horrible games. He played really good yesterday. Probably played his best in a month.
Yeah,
maybe more.
Yeah.
Part of that was the Bears' defense fault.
Yeah. But to what you were saying, like, if we both win this next game, or we both lose this next game, and then they come into Chicago, we beat them, we take that back.
Right.
And then
it's real simple, and I don't see any way in hell they're going to lose to Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland lost to the frickin' Titans yesterday.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the second win.
who's their quarterback?
Who? Cleveland.
Sanders right now.
It's Sanders now?
Yeah.
But the other guy, he may be back. They opened his 21-day window, but shit, he hasn't played in over a year.
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They opened up his 21-day window last week, so this will be his second week practicing. But, he didn't practice all off season, during camp, I don't believe. He might have done a little, but he hasn't done any during the season. Is he going to come, with no practice at all of a sudden, come in and do something when it's going to be probably 7 or 8 degrees out at kickoff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about that at all. In Green Bay, they also play. So they play Denver, then us, then Baltimore, and then they finish.
Baltimore is right now a sinking ship.
Their offense is terrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
The Ravens.
Where is that game? Is that in Baltimore?
It's in Baltimore. Or no, it's in Green Bay.
Okay. Yeah, Baltimore got beat up again yesterday. So I mean, it's just not their year.
The Denver game at Denver for the Packers gives me hope that they'll lose that because, I moved from Chicago to roughly Denver I was there for about 3.5 years. The altitude is real. And especially,
I know. I've been out there a few times.
Especially when you fly in, when you drive in and you gradually ascend, it's a lot better. But when you fly in, hit the ground, you got to start running. Yeah, that could easily be a loss for them. That's a major advantage for Denver.
When I used to be on the road all the time, I used to try to run 45 minutes to an hour every day. And you get out there and you're there the first day. You try to go for a run and after 20 minutes you're dying. Because you just can't breathe as well.
Yeah. I would go I would go upstairs, take the stairs up to go get something. But, oh my gosh. Or even if you're bending down and doing something, you stand up too fast. You're like, whoa.
No, I hear you. You're literally a mile up in the air. It's a lot different than where we are now, where you're basically at sea level or just above sea level. And it has an effect on your lungs, on your breathing capacity.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, to answer Cornelius' question, that's what we're discussing now, Cornelius, is that the Packers are at the Broncos. They're at Mile High. So
yeah, the Packers are at the Broncos. Then they come back to Chicago. Then they play Baltimore at home, and then they travel to Minnesota. So
I got one other thing to say too, because a lot of people from Green Bay are being mouthy today, which is fine. They can, but the guy who was mouthy last week and like he was going to just control the game was Micah Parsons. Did you see his stat line? 1 tackle.
I have it right here.
1 tackle. That's it.
Wow.
Well, they did a ton of, I think, one of the highest rates of play action and sort of boots, didn't they, and rollouts, I think, to try and avoid him. But that's pretty good, yeah. I think. Do you think it makes it difficult though, Greg, the fact that he lines up all over the defense? Do you think they had a plan for that?
Yeah, but all told, the blocking wasn't too bad. Yeah, he got pressured sometimes, no question. But when you think about it, he only gave up 1 sack. There was times Caleb probably could have done better than he did. He's still going through a learning process. One other jerk off from Green Bay tried to say, it's his second year and he's only completing X amount percentage of his passes. I just went right back. I go look at Josh Allen's stats from his first 2 years.
Terrible, huh? Well, that makes me
worse than terrible. And then he was like 54% his first year, 58% his second year. And then he went up most of his third year. He was over 70, finished at about 68.5, maybe 69.
Yeah, 52.8% his first year, 58.8 his second year. Third
how many interceptions did he throw? A bunch.
What's
12 his first year, and 9 his second year.
Okay.
10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions his first year, 20 and 9 his second.
There you go.
And I actually wrote all this down because I was thinking about the quarterbacks from the draft class and then comparing them to Jordan Love. So I wrote them all down. And I didn't write down any of this was before the game, but going into the game, Caleb was at 58.1% completion percentage. And then it dipped down to 57.8 after that game. Jordan Love's was at 67. It went up to 67.1 after that. Before that game, May was at 71.5, which is just incredible for a second-year player. Nick's at 61.6. Daniel's at 62.5. What's the difference between those quarterbacks? They're all in the second year of except for May. They're in the second year of the same offense with the same coach.
Yes.
May is just impressive, though, with this stat line.
You know, McDaniel is a very good offensive coordinator. He's a very good quarterback teacher. He's a horrible head coach.
Horrible head coach.
Okay. So you just, keep people at their strong point.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's a good coordinator doesn't mean he's going to be a good head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's failed twice as a head coach.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with Dennis Allen. That's why I'm glad we got him.
Yep. And you know what? You're never going to have to worry about losing him.
Exactly. That's the nice part, isn't it?
Yep.
Or we're not going to have to worry about losing our defensive coordinator or our offensive play caller.
That's right.
That's the thing that makes this different. This loss, as much as I hate losing to the Packers, and I really felt in my bones we were going to win that game, I can understand it being a loss because it is. I mean, that crowd was fired up.
It was a loud crowd. There's no question about it. But again, I look at the big picture. The big picture is you were trying to show a drastic improvement over a year ago. Okay. And they've already done that. Like I said, my prediction or what I hope for at the end of this year was 9 wins. I already got that. So now, and not that my opinion matters, but they have a legitimate shot of making the playoffs. Win next week, they're probably in. Win 2 more games, they are in. So it's, and to me, that's more important than, you want to win the division. I get that. But you're trying to take positive steps each year. And this is the first year of a new administration, of a whole new coaching staff. And yet to come that far after that disaster last year, that's huge.
Absolutely. I think this point last year we were 4-9, weren't we?
Yeah.
So the turnaround is incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, throw out the anxiety and the feel shitty for yesterday. Yeah. And then just look at the bright side. Reality is they've won 9 out of their last 11 games. That's pretty freaking good.
It's pretty damn good.
It is, yeah. With a ton of injuries on defense as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to talk me off a ledge. I was looking forward to talking to you today, Greg, because I knew you'd make me feel better.
Don't worry, I'll send you a bill for my therapist activity.
I went right to bed after that game. I was so pissed off I couldn't even. I just went to bed. 8:00.
I got to answer this one text. You guys talk for 1 second. Let me just answer this real quick.
Yeah, talk about the atmosphere. Shorty, you might, and another one from Lutz the Reporter, another 199 super chat. He said, "Bingo, Greg said it right. We're building something. I guess it says building something." Yes, exactly. The difference is night and day, and I think what we want to see is progress, and I think we've got to get giddy with how sort of far ahead of schedule we are. We've all kind of started to drink the Kool-Aid a bit and expected the Super Bowl, but ultimately, like I say, some are predicting 8 or 9 wins for this season, and we've got those already. So I think we're seeing progress in front of our eyes. It's just that, we've suffered with penalties, we suffered with injuries.
Injuries you can't help. I mean, it's part of the game. They came in multitudes. But I got to look at the bright thing. Okay, left tackle going into the year. Who's going to be the left tackle? Well, by default, they're going to have Braxton be the left tackle because they didn't feel that either Theo or Ozzie was ready. And I might have said this last week. I know I've said it with Aldo a lot. 90% of the teams in the league drafting Ozzie in the second round would have gave him the job and just said we're gonna deal with it. If he makes mistakes, he makes mistakes, but that's our tackle. Ben Johnson isn't that way. He isn't putting you in until you're ready to play and you're not going to hurt the team. Mm-hmm. So it took him 10 games or whatever. So what? And he hadn't played left tackle since the 2021 season. So all of 22, all of 20, or all of 23, 22 season last time he played left tackle. 23 and 24 he's playing right tackle. So and it's hard to make that switch, go from one side to the other. It can be done. He's showing that can. He has shown, this is his third game, his pass blocking is pretty good. It's only going to get better.
It's damn good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, his run blocking's got to get a little better. I'm not really that worried about it. Again, it's just reps. The more reps he gets, the better he's going to get at it. So they're in a good situation there. And you got everybody on that line under contract for next year. You're not going to have to worry about losing anybody.
Mm-hmm. I think, and to the year beyond as well. I think they're all signed through 2027.
I'm not sure about Wright. Wright's going into next year will be his fourth year.
Oh, okay.
So you can either.
He's got a fifth-year option, isn't he?
Yeah. Did they already pick up the fifth-year option? I don't remember. I think they do this year.
Yeah, they do by the end of this year.
Yeah. And then you got to do it. Actually, you do it next spring, but it's so theoretically. Because they're not going to let, they're going to pick up that fifth year on Wright. Yeah, you're right. They got everybody for 2 years. But it's the line started off, I'm not going to say shaky. They just didn't play as good. What they did as far as a halftime adjustment, I don't know. We're going to let Ben speak to that when he talks later this afternoon. And I didn't listen to any of his presser after the game yesterday. So, but they made some good adjustments because the ground game was not working in the first half. And they controlled the ball and controlled the line of scrimmage on the offensive half, the whole second half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they came out perfectly, didn't they? They were 3 and out on Green Bay.
Yep.
And then the first 3 drives were scoring drives, weren't they, I think? But it was 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So whatever adjustments they made certainly worked. I just understand why they were so poor in the first half. Really, I guess Green Bay had a plan and executed it well, but it was pretty poor first half from us.
Well, the Bears had the opportunity. CJ got the pick on Green Bay's second possession, got the ball into Green Bay territory. They just couldn't do anything with it. Nope. And I think that slowed things down for the offense a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that. I was screaming at that point because wasn't it after that when Caleb ran for the first down and then that's when Wright had the holding call?
Yeah, Wright had the hold, and that was you can't bitch at the referee. That was a good call.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
I was actually surprised with the refs, to be honest, because there was a lot of things that like the face mask that we got, where I forget who had the face mask on the Packers, but then we had the ball that was caught by Loveland, and then they ruled it a fumble at first, and
that
then
was never a fumble.
Yeah, but it seems like in years past, though, in that Green Bay game, they would have called it a fumble and given the ball to Green Bay. It's just
right. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
there's one thing, and I didn't hear the explanation because LaFleur challenged, and he was going to lose the challenge, but they never took away the timeout, and that was in the first half.
No, he won the challenge, didn't he? I think he won the challenge. Which one was that? That was he won both of them, didn't he? That he threw.
Yeah,
I can't remember it now.
I can't remember which one that he was either.
He did win both. He did win both his challenges. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget which one that was. The We have a couple of questions. One of them was kind of pertaining to the opening of what you were saying, Greg. So before we get too far past that, I would just like you to respond to. We got Vitality said, question for Greg: who wears this loss the most? In my opinion, it's Ben Johnson and fear of the forward pass. Strange how he looked like a contender the second we asked Caleb to throw the ball. I don't quite understand that one.
No, I'm going to go back to something. I worked with Parcells for 7 years, and he always said something that just stuck with me. And he goes, those other guys are on scholarship too. So, and they had Denver or Green Bay had a good defensive game plan to start off. They did a good job. You can't take that away from them.
Yeah, they did.
And the Bears offense struggled a bit, but they made adjustments. And in the second half, the offense was clicking. So it's really how you make the adjustments and you turn failure into success to, to go forward on it. And hey, he throws a touchdown pass on that last pass. The game's going into overtime. Who the hell knows what happens then?
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'll say this. It was in the back of my head. Would not have shocked me had he gone for 2 points if they had gotten that touchdown.
That's what they were talking about in the commentary, wasn't it? It was because he's so aggressive with his play calling.
Yeah, I just, and I didn't listen to anybody say, on the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I just thought, you know what? The game's important, but is it that important that you're on the road? You got a chance to win it right now, and go for it.
What do you think about that last to end the game there? Shouldn't they have just run the ball instead of passing it?
That's a shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I swear they were going to run the ball though. Because I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. I'm like, run it now, run it right now. You got him. Interception. Game over.
He got the ball out just a split second too late on that. And hey, it's not easy. He's rolling to his left. You're throwing across your body. It's not an easy throw. He does a really good job with it in most cases. He threw it maybe a half a second too late, if that. And he just had he needed about another 3 inches of air on it in the touchdown. But hey, it isn't. They made the play. The defender made it. The defender was beat. So, but he made a great play, getting the interception, and Green Bay wins the game. End of discussion. Now you're on now. It's over with. You prepare for Cleveland. You beat Cleveland. You got 10 wins, and you're into the same scenario as you were yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And that's regardless of what happens with Green Bay and Denver.
Right.
It's just a huge advantage for the Bears if Green Bay loses in Denver.
Huge.
Yeah.
Do
you think there'd be any issue? Do you think there'd be any issue with the coaches keeping the guys focused on this game coming up against the Browns?
No, not at all. Especially coming off a loss.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coming off a loss. Yeah. When I used to live in the Denver area, everyone that was during the Peyton Manning era when he won the Super Bowl. I was living there, and all the friends I had there, they were like, "Oh, you got to become a Broncos fan. You got to become a Broncos fan." I'm like, I will never become a fan of any other team. Like, I really don't even. I'll put Monday Night Football on, and watch it, but barely, unless it's a really good matchup. I'm just a Bears fan. Like I'm not. I'm a Bears fan over an NFL fan, but they kept harping on me, and I'm like, okay, well, they have Peyton Manning, they're playing pretty well, they're going to the Super Bowl, and I said, well, I can root for them because their name starts with a B, ends with an S, and their colors are blue, orange, and white. So I'm like, I guess I can root for you when you're playing as long as you're not playing against us. But now I am really now I am a huge Broncos fan.
Well, I like teams where I've got friends working there.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean Payton and I worked together in New York for 5 years. He's a good friend. And, so because of that, I like it. The only time we were enemies is when we played in 06 for the NFC Championship game.
Right.
And we, before the game down the field, we gave each other a hug, and then I said, "Fuck you, Sean. We're going to." But after the game, he waved because I was down on the field for the last couple minutes of the game, and but he's a really good guy too. He's a Chicago guy. Grew up in Naperville, so
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Colts because Ballard's there, and I gave Ballard his first job. I'm from Buffalo, so I'm a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Giants because I worked there 17 years, and I love the Mara family. So, there's a lot of teams I like and I root for. But, I'm going to say the two teams I root for the best or the most are Chicago and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. What would it come down to if it was a Buffalo-Chicago Super Bowl?
Oh,
happy either way.
No, I've been through that once. Super Bowl 25 was Buffalo against New York. So, and my whole family, I take my family to the game. My whole family's from Buffalo. And they were all against me.
So
In fact, you line up in that game. We line up, the kick that went wide right at the end of the game. So my father-in-law at the time, he's sitting next to me. He goes, "I really hope he makes that kick." And I just looked at him. I go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, Buffalo, man. If they would have won all 4 of those Super Bowls, they'd be the greatest team of all time. We'd still be talking about.
But they didn't. But it was a good team, and the teams they got now are good teams. Did you see any of that game yesterday? It was on before the break. That was a hell of a football game.
Yeah,
the snow.
Yeah. I turned that on because of the snow. I love watching snow games like that.
Well, my daughters have season tickets, and so on Saturday, I just sent a text to my one daughter. I said, "You going to the game?" And I said, "I assume you're going to the game. Dress warm. It's going to be snowy and cold." She goes, "No, I want to get rid of my tickets. I feel lazy. I don't want to put up with that." I said, "Okay, you're going to miss a good game." So I send her a text maybe 10 minutes before the game. I go, "So did you end up selling your tickets and not going?" She sends me back a text. She goes, "Well, yes and no." I go, "Well, what the hell does that mean?" And she said, "Well, I sold the tickets, but I got invited to be in a box." So
well, that makes a difference, though, right?
Oh,
Going to the box. It's a lot of work.
Not only was she dry, she was warm.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of work going to every game. When you have season tickets.
Yep.
It's a drain on you every Sunday. All the traveling back and forth.
That stadium used to be the easiest place to park between the huge stadium lot that surrounds the stadium and then the sublots in the neighborhoods, that surround the area. But now, since they started construction of the new stadium, which is literally right across the street, and that took up one of the big lots, it's taken away about maybe 35% of the old parking. So that stadium's going to basically the interior, a lot of the interior of the stadium is pretty much done. It opens up next July, but the lot on the other side where the present stadium is, that's going to be all screwed up because they got to take down the other stadium then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be a little while before they.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of years before they get all their natural parking back.
You know what I love about that too? Buffalo said, "Fuck it, we don't care. We're putting in another outdoor stadium. We don't care about a Super Bowl."
Well, they were never going to get a Super Bowl to begin with. You don't have it's not a big enough city. You don't have the hotel facilities to bring in that many people from out of town. The entertainment facilities. It's a small town, so the metropolitan area is only like 1.2 million. So it'd be like Green Bay getting the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. Now they're bigger than Green Bay, obviously, but the new stadium, the way it's designed, and have you seen the Tottenham Stadium in England was designed by the same people. Well, you obviously have, Jason.
Oh yeah, I went there for the Bears game last season. Yeah,
okay, so
it's an incredible stadium. Yeah,
okay, designed by the same people, and I'm not going to say it's a twin, but pretty close.
Okay.
But they have the way they put that roof on, and then what they have on the outside of the stadium is like a wind deflector. And so all the wind that you're currently getting now, and this story goes back to, Pep Hamilton was a good friend of mine. Pep told me that the two hardest places to play in the league are Cleveland and Buffalo. Or rather Cleveland and Chicago. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, because they're the only two stadiums that sit on the lake. Okay. Where obviously Chicago's right on Lake Michigan. Cleveland's right on Lake Erie, literally right on Lake Erie. Buffalo's a good 5-6 miles from Lake Erie, that stadium. But he goes, just what it does to the wind coming off the lake and being that close. He says there's things. First time he was here was before he worked here. I think it was the year before. He was quarterback coach in San Francisco. So they had a game here, and the weather conditions were really awful. More wind and some rain. There wasn't any snow. But he said they had to totally change the game plan an hour and a half before the game, because they found out, when the quarterbacks just went out to throw the ball a little bit before the actual pregame warmups, they went out to, we can't throw.
So do the teams have like a separate like playbook ready for bad weather? Or do they already have
Well, I think you just got to adapt.
Right.
Obviously you're gonna, if you're smart, you're looking at the forecast to seeing what the anticipated forecast is, and you plan for that stuff. Excuse me. But until you get there and feel and see the exact conditions, you're guessing.
By the way, Greg, this was Jason at the Bears game last year. He made it onto national television.
He loves showing that clip. Yeah, I got a bit crazy. That's one of our many touchdowns.
I made that part of his British Bears opener for the show that they do tomorrow.
Did you really?
Yeah. I love it. It was crazy. We knew he was at the game, and we're like, oh, that's Jason right there. so awesome.
Yeah, my phone blew up.
Do you have any of Ben's presser from after the game? I have not listened to 1 second of it.
I have not listened to any of it either. I went right to bed. I can pull it up for sure. While I'm pulling it up, let's get to this question from Triple R that I have.
You do that then. Get the video, mate, and I'll.
Okay.
Right. So there's one from Trips here about DJ Moore. He's asking what's going on with DJ Moore. Is it a DJ or Caleb issue, a DJ offense issue? What's your thoughts on DJ Moore, Greg?
I can't answer that. I think when you went into looking at it from a defensive point of view, Green Bay probably, when they found out Rome wasn't going to play, they adjusted to try to take DJ out.
Yeah. I think he had one reception for -4 yards, didn't he? That horrible screen.
Yeah, so, and when there's only one guy that you got to stop, it's a little easier than if there's 2 or 3. Now, I thought Colson might get more play than he did. He still had 4 catches or something, but I thought he might have a pretty big game going into that. And who knows how long Rome's going to be out. They said he's got a stress fracture. Excuse me. But he's been playing with it, so.
That's right.
Why don't you put me on mute for a second so I can cough if you want to do that?
Sure,
okay, go ahead. Okay, better?
Yep.
Cool. So I got the presser here. It's 8 minutes 45 seconds long. I didn't because I went right to bed after this game, so I didn't have any time to make the clips like for segments like Aldo.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the hand or the kneel downs. As soon as they got that pick, I just switched it off and started. I was like, yeah.
Well, that's what I did. I just went and turned something on.
Yeah.
So we got here. Let's watch. We can kind of pause it and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Ezzy.
Like anybody of note didn't finish the game, so we should be in good shape there. Obviously, when it comes down to the wire like that and you're on the losing side of it, it's disappointing. But a lot of credit to our guys in the second half there, making it a game down 14-3 at halftime, and yet it coming down to the last 30 seconds and potential to tie that game up, or whether it's overtime or go for the 2-point. So really close at the end, but give a lot of credit to Green Bay. They made a couple more plays than us. Their offense was explosive. They found some big plays, resulted in touchdowns on us. And then fortunately there in the second half, our offense was able to find its footing a little bit, both in the run game and the passing game. And it felt like we had a little bit of rhythm. So made it a game, but fell short at the end of the day. So open it up from there.
The last play, what was your hope on that play call, and what was your vantage point of how it unfolded there?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of options there. I don't know exactly who's going to pop necessarily, but between the options that we have and then Caleb using his legs, was hopeful we could find a way to get a yard there.
Chance to look at it yet?
The play?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. How do you attribute the difference in the offense between the first half and the second half, and how you guys did come to life?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a really good defense. I think at home this year, they're averaging 13.5 points per game and 240 yards per game. So we knew it was going to be a big challenge. You go on silent cadence against a really good pass rush group like that. They get off the ball and they pressure your quarterback, and we certainly felt that there in the first half and in the second half too. I thought Caleb was doing everything he could. He put his Superman cape on a few times to not go down, extend the play, and he found a couple big scrambles for us over the course of that game, which, earlier in the season you would have said that we really had a hard time finding. But, I think it was Duvernay down there on their sideline. That was a huge play. And then the Cole Kmet catch down on our sideline was a huge play as well. So, I think we got a prideful group. We weren't happy. We weren't pleased with our first half performance on offense. And sometimes just coming in and catching your breath for a second allows you to hit that reset button, and our guys responded the right way.
Ben, when you talk about the big plays that you guys gave up defensively, what kind of issues were you having in the secondary?
Yeah, that's one of those things. Again, I got to go back and I got to look at the tape. But it did seem like we were man-to-man on one of them, and their guy beat our guy. I know on another one, they seemed like they had a good play design based on our coverage, and that happens at times. So I got to go back and I got to look at some of those and what we could have done a little bit better.
So what's the ripple effect of not having Rome short term here, and how those reps get distributed?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of knew that going into the week that he may not be available, and so something that we're conscious of. The fortunate thing for us is we have weapons all over the place. Our tight end room is very strong. Our running back room is strong. We have a lot of depth in that receiver room. I know Luther certainly had a little bit more on his plate here this week, and I thought he handled it pretty well from my perspective without seeing the tape yet. And so I don't think that necessarily we missed a beat, but yet Rome is such a vital part of what we do. And, in a lot of ways for Caleb, it's his blankie, and they got such a great natural rapport that when a guy like that's out, then, other guys got to step up. But yet he is a big part of what we're doing.
Do you have any kind of gut feeling coming out about how even it is between these two teams?
I think this division in general is very tough division. I think all four teams are neck and neck and, battling it out. And, I think our guys were confident coming into the game that we were going to be able to come away with a W in this one. And we fell short. Like I said, we just didn't make it a couple plays there when we needed to. And so, like I said, credit to Green Bay. I mean, it's a really good defense. I give Coach Halfley his flowers. They do a phenomenal job.
And if you would have anything you'd like to comment on, Greg, just let me know. I can pause it for you.
No, I just the rest is just going to be basic questions. He said a lot there. I like his demeanor, first of all. It's not he seems to have this positive, upbeat demeanor, even after a loss. Uh, and I think he feels the same as like I do. Yeah. This is one we kind of gave away. We could have had. We needed to do a little bit better, but he's looking at the big picture.
Absolutely.
And we already talked about that. So, and he's going to learn, based on the defensive personnel that Green Bay has this year, he's going to learn a lot from that for 2 weeks from now, and how to really attack these same guys. There, obviously, the defensive game plan for Green Bay will change a little bit, but exactly how to attack some of those guys. He has 2 full weeks to think about that, and I think you're going to see a change there. Now it's just a matter of what's the weather going to be like here.
Right, that's well said. Now he has tape of us playing their defensive personnel. I expect the game will be a lot different than this one.
And you got the crowd. And I'll tell you now, Green Bay's crowd did a hell of a job. They were loud, they were boisterous. The Bears fans got to do the same thing. And some people might not like this, but the Bears fans sometimes aren't as boisterous as they could be, or aren't as loud as they could be.
Right. Oh, I have a feeling they will be against the Packers, though.
Well, I hope so. I'll tell you, and I think George did it last year. If he saw tickets going up north of the state line, he was going to cancel their tickets. And I do the same thing. If people want to sell their tickets to people from Green Bay, fuck them.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be selling them to Green Bay fans. That's for sure.
Well, people do. How the hell do you think they get the tickets? I mean, they only get 500 tickets.
Yep. And that's also driven up the prices for them themselves too. So how the tickets work now is they basically, if you sell your tickets, if everyone sold their tickets for $1,000 a piece, they're going to raise the tickets like a percentage of what you're making off of your seats. So now you're hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I actually have Atlanta Falcons season tickets, Greg, and I bought them because they were cheap. They're like $1,000 for the 2 seats for the whole year. And if the Bears play, I get built-in games I can go and watch. And I've said this a million times, but not to this large of an audience, and not to you. I went there it's the same thing. It hasn't changed. I got a cheeseburger, a chicken finger basket, chicken fingers and fries, a beer and a water for $13. That's one beer at Soldier Field. So I don't know what my point to that was, other than they treat you a lot better.
About a year ago, going back to Buffalo again, they showed I was in my last year in college when the Bills Stadium was called Rich Stadium, then opened up. So this was the 1973 season. It was the year OJ ran for 2,000 yards. First time there was a 2,000-yard rusher. And they showed the prices of the concessions. Beer was like 75 cents.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Hamburger was like $1.50.
Yeah. Yeah, the cheeseburgers at Mercedes-Benz are like $2. I think the water was $1, the beer was $5, and the chicken finger basket was like whatever the difference is of that. But that was my point that I was going to make, is that when I sell my tickets, I just sell them for face value so that I'm not paying more for the next year's tickets. Right. If I sell them for $500 a piece. Plus, if I tried to list them for that much, nobody would buy them anyways, because there are more Bulldogs fans down here than they are Falcons fans. We got a $4.99 super chat from Matty Focheezy saying, you guys thinking after the game the Packers are worried Bears aren't the pushover anymore, or are we just the same old Bears?
Oh, I think reality is yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot, not only the players, but the fans. Now, the jerk off fans are some of the loudmouths that are the nameless, faceless on X. They're gonna mouth off like they always do. But reality is, and I got a couple nice notes from some Green Bay fans, and they were going like, "Whoa, were we lucky?" And these people were down to earth people, and I thanked them for their comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like a a nice, respectful Packers fan. I was on a Packers fan podcast on Friday night, and they were very respectful. That's always nice.
No, I agree, and I'll tell you, when I was working there, went up to every game in Green Bay. I'd sit up in the press box, but my family would sit out in the stands because I lived, north of the city. I lived north of the Bears facility, about 10 miles north of the Bears facility. It's only a 2-hour drive to the stadium in Green Bay. So, you go up there, you leave here about 4 hours before the game. You get up there, you park the car, and you already have a parking pass, so you're not going to have a problem. And, my family used to mingle with fans in Green Bay, and they sat in on some tailgates and stuff and had a great time.
Yeah, I've never been up there. I worked with a Packer fan for 15 years. We had a running jersey bet every following game. I've worn so many Brett Favre jerseys, it's insane. But he always tried to get me to go to a Lambeau game, and I just never wanted to go. And now I regret it because I live in the Atlanta area now, so it's just too hard for me to try to make that game. But I would have loved to experience that because I know that they're, that's the reason why we hate each other so much, is because we're actually very like-minded.
There was one game, it was early in my career here, but so I don't know if it was a noon game, probably was a noon game, but we were going to leave. Bobby DePaul, who was the pro director at the time, Bobby DePaul, Cliff Stein, Ted Phillips, and myself all drove up together like at 7 a.m. So we would have got there at 9 for probably 9:15 because we're coming from Alice Hall, 9:20. But the funny thing was, as soon as you cross the border, so you're getting almost into Kenosha, they had the cops lined up, and the amount of Illinois people they had pulled over, which I just thought was bullshit on their part.
They were pulling him over going to the game or going home?
Pull him over for speeding, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Including us. I wasn't driving. Bobby was driving.
They pulled you over?
Mm-hmm. But what they do there? They have like these service roads, and you can get over from the service road onto the interstate real easily.
Yeah.
The cops, and it wasn't like a state cop; these were like local cops. They're on the service road, and then they
get on.
And get you out and pull you over.
Oh man, I believe it. I got another question here for you, Greg. Do you see the Bears extending Tremaine Edmonds? Seems to have found his niche or found his fit with Dennis Allen, assuming he's not looking for a record-breaking deal.
I think this is the last year of his deal, isn't it? Third year, or he might have one more. I'd have to look on over the cap, which I'm not going to do right now.
I can look that up for you.
I think he's making $17 million this year. And he was before he got hurt, he was having a Pro Bowl type year.
Yeah.
He's gonna want a raise.
Yeah. He's got 1 year. 1 year. He signed through 26.
Okay. Well then, could they extend him after that?
I would say yes.
Maybe. I would say yes too, because he's young.
Sure. Right.
He was like a 20-year-old rookie when he came into the league.
Right. Yeah.
I think when he played his first game, I think he was still 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's really a good guy. I did a thing for ESPN. They used to have this thing down in Dallas, I'm going to say about 6 weeks before the draft. It was after the combine, between the draft, where they had some top players competing in these like football type activities. And I forgot what the hell they called it. But the guy who was doing the broadcasting was Dusty Dvorak. So, it was in his early years. But I went down there, and my job was to interview some of the players with a combine type interview. And the one guy I had to do was Tremaine Edmonds, and he was terrific.
Yeah.
Really.
I like Edmonds a lot. Yeah. We got another $1.99 super chat from Maddie Focheezy saying, in my opinion, the difference in the game, only one team had it. The difference in the game was only one team had it. Meaning,
if I know what it means, if that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay pretty much owned the first half, but I thought Chicago pretty much owned the second half. So
yeah.
It got down to that last play, and I'll say what I said before. Had it gone to overtime, who the hell knows what happens?
Right. If it did, I was almost hoping we would tie. Because that tie is just it's actually working in their favor right now, Greg.
Well, it's going to work against them if Chicago beats them. If the scenario that I think is going to happen, they're going to lose to Denver, they're going to lose to Chicago, because it's a half loss.
Right.
It's a half win and a half loss, but the half loss is better than the half win.
Right. Yeah.
So it can hurt you depending on where you finish, can't you? Because it's either half a loss or half a win.
Right.
Yeah. Not always good.
Right now, they're only a half a game ahead of the Bears.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have to take off. My lunch hour is over, so I'm going to get back to work. Are you okay?
Yeah, we'll probably go another 15, 20.
Yeah, you okay, Jason?
Yeah, okay. Let's go for it. Yeah.
All right, we got another question for you in here that you can pull up after I leave. But I want to thank you again for doing this with us on BCP, Greg. I don't know how long, so everyone, please check the Barroom next week. I'm not sure.
Aldo is, let's say this because we didn't do it. Aldo is planning on coming on here for a little bit today. He just didn't feel 100% with it. He is out of the hospital. He is doing rehab every day, but as of 15 minutes before we started this, his plan was to do the show next week. So obviously that's going to be, up in the air until a couple days before to see how he feels, but he's doing a lot better now than he was a week ago.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's great to hear. He reached out to me this weekend too and let me know what was going on. So definitely, if Gabriel Talks Football has not resumed back on the Barroom next week, then please check us out. He will be here again with us. Really appreciate all you guys in chat. I'll leave you guys at it. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And
thank you, Shorty. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Shorty.
Appreciate you, Greg. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Jason, do you watch any college football?
I don't know. I keep meaning to try and have a little look at it, but I've never managed to get into it.
Because a lot of controversy with the playoffs, the way they ended up. But that's for another day because you don't really watch it. So
yeah, I'm afraid I'd have nothing to add.
Okay.
There's another question here though from Petty King JV. He says for Greg, would you agree that Sunday's a must-win with this loss and us seeing them in 12 days? And he says he's followed Shedeur since he was at JSU and he can beat us, he reckons. I think you've answered this already, but just go for his
look at Cleveland is a lousy football team. They got some real good defensive players. It's a home game for the Bears. We've watched how this Bear team has responded all year. Since that loss in Detroit, they've really been on top of their game for the most part. Yeah, the games have been close. They haven't blown anybody out really but Dallas. But
yeah,
I'm not worried about Cleveland. And either are the bookies. They've already established the Bears as a 7-point favorite. When's the last time you saw the Bears as a 7-point favorite?
Yeah, exactly. Vegas usually knows, don't they?
And Shedeur Sanders, this is going to be his third or fourth start in the NFL. I like Shedeur. I think he's got some gunslinger in him, but he's not ready to compete against a team that's getting ready to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they don't have the weapons on offense.
that's probably what's letting them down, isn't it? I think the Cleveland D is much stronger. Obviously, Miles Garrett's having a hell of a season. Right. He's the danger. That'll be a big test for Aussie, wouldn't it? That one for sure.
And I'm not sure how they use Garrett, if they flip-flop him or he's predominantly right side or whatever. I'd have to look at some Cleveland tape this week. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched Cleveland all year. But I will watch a little bit this week.
Yeah, we'll check a little bit of we're doing it for an advanced knowledge.
But I'll say what I said earlier, as to that remark a minute ago. Mm-hmm. They lost to Tennessee, and Tennessee is horrible.
Yeah, exactly. They went for a 2-point conversion, didn't they? Was it to tie or to? I think it was to tie, wasn't it?
And it's the coach is playing for his job. Players are playing for their job. It's on the road. The game means nothing to them. I just can't see Cleveland coming in and pulling an upset.
No.
Now, had it been a different coaching staff than the Bears have right now, then it's a different story. But between the veterans in the locker room and the coaching staff the way it is, I think they're going to be ready for this game.
I agree.
These guys know what the big picture is.
Yeah, indeed. And as we said before, wasn't it? It's like it's totally still in our hands. And I think once we've talked ourselves off the sort of the emotion of losing to the Packers again, we'll actually see we're in a pretty good situation. We're still in the playoffs race right now. We're in 7th seed. The future and our destiny's in our own hands, isn't it? We've got 2 home games coming up.
I'd say that, and that's what I was talking about last week. Last week we were 1 seed, and today we're 7 seed.
Yeah.
Okay, so and the whole thing is that 1 seed meant nothing. The 7 seed means nothing. The only seed that matters is what's the seed in 4 more weeks.
Exactly. It doesn't matter to them. And it's going to happen now, isn't it? As it's such a tight race, it's going to be teams are going to be leaping up and down those
every week. Every week it's going to change. Every week's just going to change. Some people say, "Well, don't try to take away or celebrate." There was nothing to celebrate. It was just something on paper.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. It wasn't finite. It wasn't real.
Yeah. If the season ends today, yeah, but it doesn't. There's another 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on that final play, let's say with our first half being so bad, we still were, ready to tie or maybe even take the lead for the 2-pointer on the very last play of the game. So, do you think that? I think there wasn't a terrible play call. And like you said, I think they wanted. It was the 3 options, wasn't it? The way I saw it was.
That's what he said. He said there was a bunch of options on it.
Yeah.
Exactly what they were. I'd have to look at the all 22 on that. Excuse me. I got some lung issues. Aldo knows about it. I've talked about it. And so that's why some days are better than others as far as my lungs go. And it causes me to cough a little bit. I mean, it's not anything that's going to hurt me. It's just something you got to deal with.
That's good. Well, your mic's better this week as well, mate. So that's good news.
Well, I got a new set of headphones and stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, but I mean, I think the option was that maybe like Swift was the first option. Caleb could run it, and then obviously the third one was for the end zone, but he just underthrew it, didn't he? So
there was no way that Caleb was going to get in running on that.
No,
that was taken away.
Yeah, well, that was my view. Was they actually the Packers defense actually played it pretty well. They took away almost all 3 options, and I think we'd have had more of a chance if he could have placed that ball better in the corner of the end zone, maybe. Then Komet could have got it, but like you say, it is what it is.
Somebody I saw. One analyst say, well, why didn't they do a play like that to the right side? They were winning to the right all the time. Well, don't you think Green Bay knew that too?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I think they would have just favoured their chances, wouldn't they? For needing a yard, two attempts on 3rd and 4th down to pick up a yard. They had 2 timeouts in the bag.
I did not like the way they used the clock in that last minute. Because then they had it seemed to me like they had to rush a little bit. But is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I think they could have been more urgent, couldn't they, getting into the huddle? I know they didn't have to rush it. They didn't want to.
Well, they could have taken a timeout a little bit earlier and not lose a lot of seconds. But it's over with. Nothing you can do about it now.
No, exactly. I don't know if you've seen anything about Kyler Gordon though. We lost him on the warm-ups, didn't we? To the same. I think.
Yeah, and I wonder how bad that is. And Ben might say something, but he did. When we saw the beginning of that press conference, he didn't. He was asked about injuries, or not asked about it. He was just saying it, and he didn't say, "I think we're in pretty good shape." So it might have been that he was just tight.
Yeah, exactly.
And that because of the real cold, extreme cold, they didn't want it to get worse. But I think, again, we'll find out more about that this afternoon.
Later in the week. Yeah, exactly. He didn't mention it on the press conference, but I guess he doesn't have to because Kyler didn't play the game, did he? He was just a scratch.
Right,
so.
right. But, I mean, I'm just kind of surprised he didn't say anything right from the start.
Yeah.
Because he was active, and it was after they had to turn in the active that it might. Now, whether he re-pulled it, if he re-pulled it, that's one thing. But if he was just tight and they didn't feel, given the cold weather, that it was a good idea to play him, that's a different story. Next week, you got another week of rehab and exercise to do. He could be fine in another week. So I guess we just got to wait and see. Just been a terrible season for Kyler. He made a lot of money, hasn't been able to play.
No, exactly. It's a real shame. He's such a big part of our defense as well, isn't he?
Yep.
I think all three of the passing touchdowns for the Packers came from the slot as well, didn't they? I think all three of them from what I saw.
Well, the one I think was a blown coverage. I mean, Brisker was blaming himself by his actions, but it might have been. Again, I got to look at the all 22. It looks like somebody did not pick him up early enough.
It wasn't his half of the field, was it?
On the one, yeah, on that, and I'm talking about. I think that was a touchdown to Melton.
That's right. Yeah, I think they was trying to make out on the coverage. The commentary team were trying to make out like it was Jalen Johnson's fault for not dropping back into the sort of fake cover two. But that was Brisker's half of the field he came from, and he was just trying to make the ground up, wasn't he?
See, on the one to Watson, CJ just got beat off the line.
Yeah, totally. And the way they'd set that game, the play up as well, because they were all on the line, weren't they? They stacked the box.
Yeah,
so
they were
broke his route.
They were playing man across the ball, and he got beat right off the line, and that was it. It was all over.
Yeah. There's another question from Grant here. He says, Greg, Green Bay's defense was given up on average at home 13.5 points and 230 yards a game. Our Bears had 240 yards in the second half alone. To me, we're in good shape. No push around anymore. What do you think?
No, I agree. Whatever. And again, I think when Ben has his presser, and it's usually around 3, I think we'll learn a lot more as to what kind of adjustments they made. But they couldn't run the ball in the first half, and they ran the ball pretty damn well in the second half. Yep. So they did something. They were not doing some of the same things that they did against Philly last week. And it's like leading with the tight end up the hole. I did not see that very often yesterday. But again, I got to go back and look at the tape.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We answered that question. So anyone else with a question for Greg, please get them in before we sign off. Any thoughts on that third and 2, man? That was ended up as a 21-yard game. We had like 4 defenders around Josh Jacobs behind the line, didn't we? That was pretty.
Yeah, I thought if it's the play I'm thinking about, I thought it was going to be for a loss the way it started, and then it just the defenders just didn't finish the play.
No,
and you got to take good angles.
Well, exactly. But the thing is, there was 4 of them. I think it was Dexter, Jackson was there, Johnson, and someone else. I think there was like 4 players literally surrounding him. I was screaming in celebration when I saw the pitch.
Yeah, it could have been a play for a loss, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was 3rd down as well, 3rd and 2, and then that was the drive they got. 2 minutes later, he ran it in for a touchdown. So that was a big turning point in the game. I think that one. That was first half still, wasn't it?
There's going to be plays every game that you wish you had back.
Yeah,
that's going to be one of them. But that's you learn, and in a perfect world, you learn from those situations. You pointed out, I don't think that Green Bay is going to be able to run against the Bears here as well as they ran at home.
No. Fair enough. Where's what I was going to say then? Something else. That went from me. Do you think that's it? Missed tackles. It was because I think we had quite a lot of missed tackles in that game, which is unusual.
Yeah, I think as compared to the last few weeks, the missed tackles were more. It was almost like they're reverting back to earlier in the season. Part of that could be the cold. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying, what could be. I just don't know for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, another one from Relentless Mikey here saying, Greg, from an approach perspective, shouldn't the Bears have come into the game with quick plays, sort of up tempo, or start dominating with the run?
That to me, that's a nothing against the gentleman who wrote the question, but that's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. And the coaches get paid a lot of money to put these game plans together, and the game plan they put together is stuff that they think is going to work. So when you come in after the game and you say, well, they should have done this and they should have done that.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't complained to date on the way he's run the offense. Why are you going to start now? You got the coach you wanted. He's going to call the game he wants. When he makes a mistake, he's the first guy to tell you he made a mistake.
Yeah.
And again, he will do that if it follows how it's gone in the past. He'll do that today and that presser later this afternoon, because I think just about every week he said, I made a mistake here, made a mistake there, or whatever. And that's, again, it's why I like the guy so much, because he's so darn transparent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a breath of fresh air, isn't he, in his conferences?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't make excuses.
No. And that will carry over into the locker room, won't it, of course, as we see.
Absolutely. I mean, he's holding himself and he's holding his staff accountable, as well as holding the players accountable.
Yes, yeah, because you can't do it to the players.
Right. And the players, the players will buy into that because they see that the coaches are being held accountable. So, in other words, everybody's got to do their job.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like Crimson says here as well. He thinks the entire team and coaching staff is farther along than he expected, and he's seen incredible growth in year one. I think we kind of agree with that. Yeah,
and you're going to have more next year because you're not going to be starting from scratch.
Yeah, totally.
So you're going to be in year two of the defensive system, year two of the offensive system. They're going to be able to do so much more at the beginning of the year than they did this year. People aren't going to, the veterans coming back are going to be dialed in more so than they were at the beginning of this year. It's going to be that much easier for the younger players to come in because the new guys are there to help them because they've already been exposed to it. So they'll be able to, it's not like everybody doesn't know what's going on. It's like, the veterans know what's going on. And because of that, they can help bring along the young guys. Where this year, everybody was on the same page with none of them knowing anything.
Exactly. So with the new off season, I think, are you preaching patience there, Greg? Are you saying people should just wait and see a little bit and enjoy the improvements we've made?
I'm not one for bitching and complaining. It's like it plays out the way it plays out. Yeah.
And I think, let's say, just you need to keep a level head, really, not get too high on the wins and not too low on the losses.
Hey, if this was August 30th right now, and you said the Bears are going to be 9-4 at this point of the season, you would have said, really?
Exactly.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, playing meaningful football in December. We still have a significant chance of winning the division, for goodness sake, and people are losing their minds. Yeah.
Win the next two games, and you don't lock it up, but you come pretty damn close.
Hell yeah, you're getting us excited now, Greg. So we're gonna, but yes, it's where we are, isn't it? It's true. This is exactly where we are. So last year we were 4-9 at this point, and looking at the draft already.
Yeah.
So things are looking up for sure. Yeah.
No question about it.
Absolutely. So I think we're kind of there. If I'm honest, there's no more questions hanging there. If anyone else has got anything they really want to add,
I'm going to have a coughing fit in a minute, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, we'll try and not get that one there. That's I've done well to not do the same, mate. Oh yeah, this is J2K's knows his college football. He's saying, Greg, did Notre Dame get screwed?
Yes.
There you go. Yes.
Absolutely. And some people are now. I know you don't follow this, Jason. So
no, go ahead, mate. It's your show. It's your show.
When Notre Dame did not get into the college football playoff, as everybody expected them to, then the team. So I fill you in, Jason. They opted out of playing in another bowl game. And some people say, well, that was the Notre Dame administration. No, it wasn't. It was the players, and the players voted 100%. No, we're not playing in another bowl game. And the reason being is ESPN basically runs the bowls.
Okay.
They televise all of them. They were trying to set up a bowl game. The two teams that got, I'm not going to say screwed. BYU didn't get screwed. They didn't deserve to get in, but Notre Dame did get screwed. So they're going to put BYU and Notre Dame in a bowl game. So what's that going to do? That's going to drive up ratings, put people in the seats. And Notre Dame said, no, we're not doing it. We got screwed. Why should we help ESPN make money when ESPN went out of their way to screw us? Because ESPN has a lot to say on how the playoffs get set up. It's really, they got too much power.
I think, is that what leads into Kai Kui's comment of saying the playoff committee equals Southern bias politics?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got the guy who's the chairman changes all the time, but the Juracek, who's the AD at Arkansas, showed how weak he is. And that's why Arkansas's got a lousy athletic program. But, they got walked all over. Alabama is in. Alabama lost 2 out of their last 4 games. Almost lost 3. They got a late touchdown to beat Auburn. And yet they got killed. Their total yards rushing, Jason, in the SEC championship game was -3 for the whole game.
Wow.
Yet they're still in, and they're in the playoffs. And that is SEC, strictly SEC bias. Now, who has a contract with the SEC and televises all their games? ESPN, ABC.
Funny that. Now I see. Yeah.
It's all about money.
Funny. Yeah. It usually is, isn't it, these days?
Yep.
Hey-ho.
No question. So we got any more questions? Anybody got any more?
I don't think we have there. I think we're kind of done. So thanks so much for your time.
We're going to talk about a win next week.
Yes, next week with Aldo, whether he's here or not, we shall be talking about a Bears win and be back in the hunt for the number 1 seed, probably. Oh, hang on. Greg. Sorry, Greg. J2K, Johnny come lately. He says, Greg, J2K says...
I have not watched 1 second of Shador play
there
since he's been a starter, so I don't know. I will do that some this week.
Okay, there you go. J2K, there's your answer. So we'll keep you here no longer, Greg. Thanks to you again for your time and carrying on the show while Aldo's having a little recovery. Thanks everyone in the chat.
Thank you for your help. Really appreciate it.
It's been great fun, actually. A bit more relaxed this week and a little less starstruck talking to you. But
you feeling any better than you were an hour ago?
I'm getting there, yeah. Football talk cheers me up, I guess.
No, but I'm talking about your cold, too. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all right. I'm going to go and hunker down on the sofa now with a cup of tea.
Good. Sounds good.
Yeah. So, take care, Greg, and everyone in the chat. And thanks again, and we'll see you for the next one.
See you later. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.